A very pleasant morning, everyone. Have an amazing day today. As we begin a new day, our attitude should be one of these. When God gives us a gift of life, we should exhibit three attitudes, namely, we should be grateful to God, we should be thankful to God, indeed, we should feel blessed. Every new day should make us more grateful, more thankful, and blessed because every day is a gift, a blessing from God. And therefore, since we are called to be grateful, thankful, and blessed, gratitude can change everything. We should be grateful to God and thankful to God for so many things. And therefore, when we put on the attitude of gratitude, everything around us will change. We will become more positive. We will be God oriented. We will be respectful. We will become responsible. And we will appreciate what God has given us in and through our parents, what God has given us in and through our teachers, what God has given us in and through our elders at home. So be grateful, be thankful, feel blessed. Prayer is an ultimate expression of every creature's gratitude and thanksgiving to its Creator. And God has given us another new day, and therefore we shall begin the day asking God to be with us, asking God to lead us. Kindly close your eyes and join me in this prayer. Student prayer. Eternal and gracious God, to be curious about the world around me. Help me to be prepared for the challenges I face every day. Help me to be open to difficult tasks. Help me to be determined to complete my work. Help me to be responsible in all I do. Help me to be accepting of people's differences. Help me to be kind in my thoughts and words. Help me to be aware of my talents. Help me to be myself, to be the best that I can be. Amen. Having entrusted this new day into the hands of God, having expressed the need to be thankful, to be grateful, and to express that we are blessed because of God's bountiness, we shall now move on to widen, to expand our knowledge, or general knowledge. Yesterday I began the lesson from Unit 3. Title is First Flight. And I told you that the hero of the lesson, the prose, is a seagull. So I thought today I could give you some amazing facts about seagull. Shall we begin? The first fact that brought an amazement in me is this. Seagulls can drink seawater as special exocrine glands located above their eyes help eliminate excess salt from their body. Seagulls can drink seawater as special exocrine glands located above their eyes help eliminate excess salt from their body. And seagull makes nests in shorter trees. Seagull has a big beak to scoop up fish from sea. The seagull always has nests in colonies. And when this seagull is born, it is pink, naked, and completely helpless. and it is normally found along ocean shores but not inland lakes. And when it gets fish from the sea in its mouth, it drains the water through the sides of its beak. Aren't these facts amazing to hear, amazing to know about seagull? How does this bird seagull adapt its flight? What are the things that qualifies this bird for flying such a fine height? As you know, birds must be different from human beings to be able to fly. Birds have the light weight, hollow bones to be able to get into the air. They also have wings and feathers which allow them to fly. But to be able to stay in the air for a long period of time, they have a natural diet of carbohydrates and protein that gives them high energy. We shall move on to discuss about how the bird seagull adapts itself on flight. First and foremost, it has well developed wings, or the seagulls have well developed wings. Second, they have powerful flight muscles for flapping their wings. Third, are covered with feathers for warmth, allowing flight muscles to work properly. Number 4, feathers are light and strong, so ideal for wings. 5, have hollow, strong bones that are filled with air to reduce the body weight. And finally, streamlined body, you can overcome air resistance. Example, crow, sparrow, eagle, hawks, falcon, owl, duck, etc. The predatory birds such as eagles, falcons and hawks have also excellent eyesight. They can spot their prey from a very long distance away and then rapidly swoop down to capture it. Now you can see the 4 forces of flight. What makes seagull to fly? The first is lift. Second is thrust. Third is the weight. And the fourth and the final element is drag. It is lift, thrust, weight and drag. Those are the 4 elements which are the 4 forces which enables seagull to fly. Let me move on with the amazing facts. Seagulls are very clever. They learn, remember, and even pass on behaviors such as stamping their feet in a group to imitate rainfall and trick earthworms to come to the surface. Seagulls' intelligence is clearly demonstrated by a range of different feeding behaviors such as dropping hard shell mollusks onto rocks so that they break open so they can eat them, and following plows in fields where they know upturned grubs and other food sources will be plentiful. Seagulls are attentive and caring parents. The male and female pair for life, and they take turns incubating the eggs and feeding and protecting the chicks. The gulls have a complex and highly developed repertoire for communication, which includes a range of vocalizations and body movements. Seagulls can drink both fresh and salt water. Most animals are unable to do this, but seagulls have a special pair of glands right above their eyes, which is specifically designed to flush the salt from their system through opening in the bill. There is a great deal of diversity between different gull species, with the smallest being the little gull, 120 grams and 29 centimeters, and the largest being the great black-beaked gull, 1.75 kgs and 75 centimeters. A small claw halfway up their lower leg enables them to sit and roost on high ledges without being blown off. Young girls form nursery flocks where they will play and learn vital skills for adulthood. Nursery flocks are watched over by a few adult males, and these flocks will remain together until the birds are old enough to breed. In Native American symbolism, the seagull represents a carefree attitude, versatility, and freedom. Many seagulls have learned to conserve energy by hovering over bridges in order to absorb rising heat from paved roadways. Seagulls are fondly remembered in Utah for helping Mormon settlers deal with a plague of crickets. The seagull is now the state bird of Utah, and the monument in Salt Lake City commemorates the event known as the Miracle of the Gulls. Main predators of seagulls are large birds of prey such as eagles. Seagulls live in colonies that consist of few pairs of birds or couple of thousand birds. Seagulls use wide repertoire of sounds and body language for communication. Seagulls are monogamous creatures. They mate for a lifetime. Mating couple gathers each year during the mating season to reproduce, and to take care of their offspring. Even though they live in a large colonies, breeding couple occupies and defends its territory from the nearby couples. Couple collects plant material and builds nests together. Nests are cup-shaped and usually located on the ground, are hardly accessible cliffs. Depending on the species, female can lay 1, 2 or 3 dark brown or olive green eggs. Incubation period lasts 22 to 26 days. Fathers play a very important role in feeding of chicks. Young birds live in nursery flocks where they can learn all skill required for independent life. And the lifespan of seagulls depends on their species. Most seagulls survive from 10 to 15 years in the wild. Let's move on to the part of the explanation. Now you can take your textbooks and I will go systematically paragraph by paragraph. There are certain new words that you will find and I would like to give you the meaning prior to the explanation proper. Seagull means a bird that lives near the sea and has short legs, long wings and white and grey feathers. Ledge means a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall or here a cliff. Brink means the extreme edge of land before a steep slope or a body of water. Expanse means a wide continuous area of something. So therefore the story is about a young seagull who is at the stage of life where he has to learn to fly. Unlike his younger brothers and sisters, he is too afraid to fly. When all of them went for flying for the first time near the edge of the sea, all of them except him succeeded. He could not trust his wings. He got terrified by the vast sea and got convinced that he could never fly. As a result, he was ashamed and disheartened and thus went inside the ledge where usually he slept. We shall move on to the next paragraph. Some difficult words for you to know and to understand their meanings. Flapped means of a bird move its wings up and down when flying or preparing to fly. It flapped means it is speaking about a bird, of a bird, speaking about its movement, its wings up and down when flying or preparing to fly. That's called flapping. Muster means to gather. Plunge means to jump or dive. Shrilly means with a high pitched and piercing voice or sound. Upbraiding means scold. So therefore his younger siblings managed to take their first flight despite their wings being shorter than his. But he could not summon the courage or muster the courage though he tried so desperately. He was scolded by his parents for not trying again, but he was so afraid that he could not even move. We shall move on to the next paragraph, some difficult words and their meanings. Herring means a soft finned sea fish. Devour means eat quickly. Cackle means laugh in a loud, harsh way. Cowardice means lack of bravery. So now he had been alone for a day after he tried because his parents were busy focusing on his siblings. They helped his siblings master the art of flying and diving for food, that is, fish. His older sibling even caught his first fish, which he proudly ate at a rock while his parents celebrated it. That morning, his parents taunted him all the way for being a coward. We shall move on to the next paragraph. The difficult words and their meanings are: ascending the sky means the act of rising up through the air. Preening means to tidy and clean its feathers. Hump means a rounded, raised mass of earth or land. Scrapped means discard. So therefore the sun had now risen and he was feeling the heat more than ever because he was empty stomach since the night before. He stepped out of his ledge and pretended to sleep on one leg to gain the attention of his family. Still no one noticed him. His siblings were sleeping, his father was cleaning his feathers with his beak, and his mother was standing on another plateau eating fish while she noticed him. The seagull got mad on seeing the fish because he was very hungry. He moved to tear away fish and scrape his beak now and then. We shall move on to the next paragraph, some difficult words and their meanings. Derisively means in a manner of expressing contempt or ridicule. Plaintively means sad. Uttered means make a sound with one's voice. Halted means stopped. He cried in hunger to his mum while his mother screamed back angrily. But he kept crying, which soon turned into a joyful scream at the sight of his mother flying towards him with a piece of fish. He got excited as she came nearer and thus leaned forward. Suddenly she stopped not too far from him. Out of excitement and hunger, he dived at the fish without realizing for a moment that he was afraid to fly. We shall get on to the next paragraph, some difficult words and their meanings. Monstrous means horrible. Seized means grab. Headlong means with the head foremost. Soaring means flying or rising high in the air. Swooped means especially of a bird move rapidly downwards through the air. Curveting means perform a series of jumps on the hind legs. He got so excited that he fell as soon as he tried. For a moment he was in shock and stood still out of terror. All this lasted only for a moment, and soon his feathers opened as he flied. He could feel the wind against his breast feathers, stomach and his wings. He could feel himself cutting through the air. He was not afraid anymore. He was just a bit nervous. But then his mother accompanied him. The whole family screamed out of excitement, thus celebrating his victory over fear. We shall move on to the next paragraph, some difficult words and their meanings. Shrieking means making a high-pitched, piercing cry or sound. Shrilly means loudly and forcefully. Ridges means a long, narrow hilltop, mountain range or watershed. Cowed means utter a cow. Once he overcame his fear, he forgot that he was once afraid of it. He did all those things he once feared. He flied straight over the sea and could see the greenery and the mountains beneath him. He screamed out of joy as he enjoyed the victory. We shall take up the last paragraph. There is only one difficult word, beckoning. Beckoning is a gesture. When he landed, his family landed along with him as a gesture that they were proud. They were screaming and shouting in excitement in their high-pitched voices. He then went into the sea, where at first he got scared and thus panicked. He tried escaping but got tired and weak because of hunger. Thus, when he calmed down, he started floating in the sea. He was once afraid of it. His family was celebrating in excitement and offered him food as praise. Finally, he had overcome his fear and had made his first flight. It's time to evaluate your learning. I have placed certain questions for you to evaluate whether you have paid attention to today's class. The first, can you write 5 amazing facts that you remember about seagull? Second, do you find any resemblance between the seagull and your own life, in particular to the aspect of fear in trying out anything new? Could you elaborate a bit? And the third question, what is the meaning of the following words? Muster, shrieking, plaintively, flapped, expanse. Try to complete, take time and complete the evaluation, and kindly move on to the next stage of the exposition. So it's time to recap what we have seen throughout the day. Today I began by giving you amazing facts about the seagull, after which I moved on to explain the lesson proper in detail, paragraph by paragraph, by giving you the meanings and their explanation. Now you can just go through the summary, which gives you in a nutshell what we have seen, the storyline in detail. You can read it by yourself as the music is played. I'm sure the entire lesson was an eye opener for you. There are a lot of things, practical things, that this particular story speaks to each one of us. We need to take time to allow the text to speak to us so that we can see a resemblance, a sort of correspondence between the seagull and our own lives. Thank you for listening and take care. Bye bye. See you next week on Monday.